right, so this is the Newcomers meeting, 12th November. Let me share my screen. All right. We take an hour out every week to get our newcomers started into the in Layer5 projects within any domain that Layer5 is currently contributing to. Please be vocal on these meetings. You will gain as much as you speak out. Trust me on that one. No judgments. You can ask any question that comes to mind. Silly questions are appreciated in any manner or form. So please do speak up. And the document that you're currently looking at is the meeting minutes, and which I'll just put on the chat if it already hasn't been. All right, there you go. Please make your way to the meeting minutes. It's the heart and soul of the meeting. Go add your name to the attendees list, go add a question or a topic to the agenda, and we'll get to it. We'll definitely get to it either by the end of the meeting or somewhere in between. So today we have a tutorial. All right, let me introduce myself first because I always forget to do that. My name is Shruti Chandra. I'll be the host for this particular meeting and a couple of the others that you attend in the under Layer 5. I'll again encourage you to speak up as much as you want in this particular meeting. It's semi-formal. All of the meetings are semi-formal, but this one particular is a perfect place for you to speak out as a new member or as somebody wanting to start out. Again, go add your names, or I will do that for you at some point. All right. While I get the setup available on my local, Ruth, are you there?
Hi everyone. Yeah, sure thing. I'm here.
Hey, Ruth, could you give everybody a walkthrough of the Layer 5 side projects? Just a
Yeah, sure.
simple explanation. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So
If you want to share your screen, just let me know.
okay. Oh yeah, sure. I'll share my screen this.
All right, go ahead.
Have everyone introduced themselves? Okay. I think I see new people me here. Sorry for pronouncing it wrongly.
Yeah, sure. Did you just see me here? I think. All right.
You,
So we have this
you could use
tradition.
the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Shruti, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have this tradition in Layer 5 meetings in which if you are a newcomer or, well, if you're attending any of the calls for the first time or the second time if you like to harass you, you can go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, the domains that you've worked with, or something that you like to work with, or your favorite color, or whatever you want. So we'd like to pick on people for this particular tradition. So, Mihir, I think you haven't been on any of these calls before. Would you like to go first?
Yeah, actually, this is my. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so this one is my first meeting, and actually, I'm a pre-final year student in Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur, in India, and I'm currently pursuing computer science engineering, and I am really looking forward in exploring this field as much as possible right now.
Mhm. Uh, what are you currently looking to work with?
Uh, till now, I was in competitive coding and now I am exploring in development side and many other fields. Like right now I'm trying to learn React Native,
Ah,
and now then let's see where it will unfold.
yeah, sure. That's a great intro. Who would like to go next before I start calling people out? Shravant, would you like to go next?
If Shravan doesn't mind, I would like to go next.
Yeah, sure.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. I'm Prayag. I'm final year undergrad at IIT Indore, pursuing bachelor's in computer science. Like, I happen to know about this organization from Dave Kalra, if you know him
Yeah,
by,
yeah,
yeah.
I know Dave Kalra.
Yeah, so he's been interning for quite some time, and he told me that like these were like he mentioned few of the technologies you guys were working on, and apparently I really wanted to try my hands on them. So like what earlier I have worked with primarily Java for backend development, and I have some experience in React, like maybe less than a beginner's experience, and some experience in Golang, then again less than a beginner. But I wanted to try things out, work on them as well, because like yeah, apparently right now it's COVID, I'm free and like see things out, what things are like. And he explained me about the project as well, and I googled about what the service mesh is. I have some brief understanding what it is, and like would really love to learn more about these.
Mhm.
Yeah, looking forward to work with everyone. Yeah.
Great. Uh, we don't have a mesh tutorial plan for today. We have more of a site-based tutorial plan for today. But if time permits, sure, let's talk about mesh for a bit at the end.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Who would like to go next? I know Navindu and I think Harsh Kapadia has been on one of the calls before, but it's been a while. So Harsh, would you like to go?
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so I actually contributed about a few months ago on one of the first timer issues. It was just a simple documentation change. So there, I think the owner or the main contributor, I don't know, he asked me to join the Slack channel, and I joined it, but I never got the time to properly contribute and stuff. So I was like, this is a newcomers meeting. So I was like, let's try to join in and let's try to contribute. So I'm a third year student from Mumbai, India. I'm pursuing information technology. Um, and yeah, I've been working in the web development field for about a year. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So yeah.
Great. Again, really nice intro. I remember my intro when I first started the community. I did way worse than you, than everybody here actually. um, Anybody else? Shravant, if you're having audio issues, please use the chat or just speak up if you can.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Barely so though.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So I'm Shravant. I'm a electrical undergraduate at from Bhubaneswar, and I'm interested in open source. Like I've recently stumbled upon it, and I found it like really interesting. And I worked with Docker and Kubernetes a bit. Like I'm not an expert. I'm just learning it. So, and since this project is like the core of it is I assume to be based on Docker and Kubernetes. So I was interested, although I just had a one merge pull request that on the front end, but I'm more of a backend guy. So I've been doing Node.js. Um, yeah, so I'd like to work on the backend. So I hope to find a meshmate soon and like get things done.
Yeah, that sounds great actually. Okay, Ruth, if you'd continue with the website tutorial, a website walkthrough before I give the
Yeah,
tutorial.
sure.
Yeah,
All
go ahead.
right, thanks everyone. Thanks, welcome Pragya, Savant, Hash, and Miha. So, okay, a brief intro on me. Ruth Ikega. I'm from Nigeria. I am a Python developer. I do technical writing, and I'm really, really very friendly, like Shritzy. Yeah, so really, a really warm welcome to everyone here, and thanks for honoring the newcomers meeting. So I'll share my screen in a sec, and I'm going to give a run through of most of the resources and Layer 5 projects. Yeah. Uh, is my screen visible?
Yep.
Okay, great. So I usually prefer starting with this newcomers meeting minutes doc, because it has a couple of resources that are, sometimes you might think or it's hidden, but they're like a couple of resources that are really, really very helpful to you as a newcomer or a first timer. So I'm going to start with the first one here, the information. So we have the calendar link for you to look at the upcoming event, every meeting, for you to like add to your own calendar so you get notified. So everything is on this part, on the information. Then you have a link to our Slack channel, just in case you're not in the Slack channel, or you have a friend or someone who wants to join the Slack channel. So there's a link here for joining the Slack. Then for the GitHub repository overview, you get the link here. There's a link here for the GitHub Layer 5 GitHub repository overview. And also, if you want to check out our YouTube channel, so there's a YouTube channel where this particular meeting is being recorded. So every is being recorded. So and every the recordings, you can get it on the YouTube. Then you have like the Google Drive. The Google Drive is if you click on this part, it takes to the Google Drive where you get like a whole lot of resources on every detail you need to know about Layer 5. Then also we have like the Zoom link attached here, just to you could this call actually happens like every Thursday at 8 a.m. Central Time. So you could we have some guides here, a very helpful resource. So this is it. The first time I welcome guide is really like a very helpful resource where you guys get so much detail about how to contribute, how to find an issue to work on. You get like so much detail here. So there are like so many resources here, very short and straight to the point resources that you could contribute. You could look at, you could read, and get to understand better on how to contribute. So then we have another thing, which is the repository overview. So this is really, really very helpful because I think someone on the call mentioned she's a back-end developer. So it's really very helpful for you to understand which of the project is front-end related, or which of the projects is like back-end related. So this resource will really like help you to really filter which one you want to contribute to. Like if you see here, you have like the front end project and the back end project here. So this resource, you have like all the projects that are like for the back end project. We have Meshry that runs on Go, have Meshry TMP, Mesh Monkey, SMI conformance. Then you have like a whole lot of, you better understand which project to contribute to as per your stack. So this resource, the repository overview, is a very good resource to help you get started on that. Okay, then now we have actually curated like created search queries on how to like find GitHub issues that are labeled help wanted. So most of the time, once you just click on each of these links here, so we actually have to get off this Hacktoberfest part because we are already done with Hacktoberfest. I think could take it off. Shruti, it's okay for me to take it off, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah. So I'll just take that off and go ahead. Yeah, so these search queries, they just lead you to open issues that are help with the help wanted label, or with the good first issue that you can easily just hop on and start contributing right ahead. So also we have the our Twitter handles here that you could click on and like give back a follow back there for each of the project, the Layer 5 project, the Mesh3.io project, and the SMP project. And there's also the LinkedIn URL here. You could also click on that. So next, I want to, okay, there's the GitHub organization. I think I don't have that open yet. Just give me a sec. Shruti, could you send the GitHub repository overview on the Zoom chat? So I'll just. Oh, don't worry, I've seen. Sorry. So it should
No,
be this
that's
one.
the GitHub link actually.
Oh, oh, this. Okay, this is not it.
Yeah.
Can you send to chat? Or
It's actually right there in the guides, the third one.
oh, no, like I mean the GitHub organization link, not this one.
All right.
Oh, sure. So while she sends that, I'll just talk about there's this. So the next thing is there's this there's this open source questionnaire. There's this open source questionnaire that is really really helpful that would like you to fill. I'm just trying to get that. I saw it just now. Okay, yeah. So we have an open source questionnaire that we like you to fill. Would always like you to fill for us to know how to like serve you better. They're like questions, really very short questions that have been curated here to help us know what you want. So like for any tutorial you would love to like receive, if it's you can click on this form and fill this form for any tutorials you'd love to hear or love to receive, like GitHub, Git and GitHub. We already have some. We have actually done some of them, which you can find on the YouTube channel. Like we've had a Git and GitHub tutorial. We've had a Golang tutorial. We've had so many tutorials during the newcomers meeting, although. So, but if you have anyone you want to see or you want us to do, you could like come fill this form and let us know your thoughts. So there are short questions here for you. So I'd also like paste this in the Zoom chat so you'd get it filled and let us know what exactly you'd love to see. So I think that will be all for now. Have you been able to send the GitHub?
Yeah, it's in the Zoom chat.
Okay, just give me a sec. Oh, sorry.
No worries. I'll just share my screen anyway. I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for the intro, Ruth.
Sure.
All right. Before I start, has anybody worked with Jekyll or any other static site generator before? Even WordPress? You can just say yes or no. No, no pressure there. All right. Um, Actually, we have another newcomer, Prayag. Would you like to introduce yourself before we move on? Also, hey, Augustine. Welcome back.
Good afternoon.
Hey. Prayag, if you'd like to introduce yourself, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Like again, yeah, sure, sure.
Have we
So,
harassed you before?
sorry,
If Have we asked you to do this before?
like you.
The intro.
Yeah, sure. Like I don't mind
Yeah.
going again. Yeah. So hi everyone. I am Prayag. I am from IIT Indore, final year student pursuing bachelor's in computer science. Like I happen to know about this repository, Layer5 from Dave and Kanishkar. Like if you guys know them.
Yeah, we know them. They've been quite popular on this call
Yeah,
today.
like okay. So apart from that, like I have done some work in Java, and I have like on top of using Spring Boot. Like I wrote a backend API and stuff like that. So I was trying. I have some knowledge of React, and I have some knowledge of uh, I think Golang, but very maybe less than beginner's knowledge. So yeah, and one wanted to explore more on the stuff. So like as I told you, told me about this, and this I wanted to contribute on this. So yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Great, thank you for the intro. We have a more site-based tutorial today on Jekyll, but I'm
Yeah,
sure if we have time, we'll round up to talking about Mesri.
yeah,
Definitely.
okay,
All right. I'll go ahead with the tutorial then. Okay. All right. If you have worked with Jekyll before, or if you have worked with WordPress before, this will be a very short tutorial. We already did one of these a while back, so we have a set of written instructions, which you'll find a link here. I'll run through these very quickly, just so you have an idea on how to set up the dev environment. If you want, if you're more of a learn from video kind, well, you can follow this particular tutorial, which is up on Layer5's YouTube channel and was done by Mikul. It covers everything, and I think it should be on a Linux environment. I'll run through one for Windows. I'm running Windows currently. If you don't have WSL or some other Linux VM set up on your system, I'd implore you to go do that first. Uh, you'll find a guide. The WSL Windows guide is pretty good, and you can achieve that pretty well. Also, some of you might know Dave Kalra. He did one of these tutorials for us on the last call. I think he did the Linux tutorial. So the instructions here have been added by him. Um, I'll run through the Windows one first. So Jekyll works on a Ruby environment. And to install Ruby, you can go in a couple of directions. I'll personally recommend RVM because it's a version manager and allows you to have different versions of Ruby installed at the same time without having to go through a long process of installing and deinstalling and then reinstalling certain versions. If you follow these steps, you will be set up with RVM and then Ruby. I have added a couple of check steps, which basically means that running these steps will ensure that you have certain package managers or certain essential libraries installed. I think the second step covers that. After you have RVM and Ruby installed, which you should be successful with if you have followed these steps perfectly. Um, After that, let me share my entire screen. All right. After that, let's go run Jekyll. Um, Let me cd into my repository and open it up in code. Right. All right. So Jekyll runs on Ruby gems. So whenever you install, after you install Ruby and RVM, my environment is already set up, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. After you've followed all of those setup steps, and you have a basic dev environment set up, what you can do is you can clone and fork the any repo that you want, any site repo that you want to build on your local system. After you've cloned a repo, make your way into it through the CLI or through any CLI, bash, WSL, anything. And you run bundle install as a command, which, damn, that's in docs. All right, after you've run bundle install, what it does is it goes through your gem file and installs any gem that has been labeled out in it. It'll probably take slightly longer for you because it already is pre-installed in my system. But that's it. That's all you need to do to get a site up and running. Post this, um, let's make a small change actually. I was initially planning to do or to solve a small issue for you. And I went ahead and made this issue as an example, but I've just realized that it'll be way too long an documentation example just for the purpose of a tutorial. So let me go ahead and change something very small. Um, just working something out. All right. I hope my screen is visible. If it's not, please call me out. Just make a small change anywhere. That's all right. Let's add some padding to one of the images because this was bugging me for a bit some time. Um, all right, after you made a change, just go back, add your changes. I'm adding everything right now because I do not remember the file name. Commit them with some appropriate commit message. Uh, After you push the changes, or before pushing the changes, what we'll want to do is we'll want to render a local version to the site so that you can check the changes that you made before pushing them, before asking them somebody to include your changes. So what you basically go ahead and do is you run this command basically builds the site locally in your version. Just wait for a second. If you're working at Ubuntu 20.04 LTS, you'll have to go add a few commands to its script so that the auto regeneration feature works. It's a bug and they haven't fixed it yet. All right, let's just go try to run this. And that's it. You have the Meshry doc site set up, which runs on Jekyll. As a tip, we have 5 live site projects currently going on. The Layer5 site, Ruth didn't show these, so I'll just go ahead and show it for her. The Layer5 main site, which runs in Jekyll, which is currently under a project to convert it into a Gatsby platform, which will be a Layer5 NG platform. And if you want to work in it, it's in a separate branch called Layer5 NG in the main Layer5 repo. If this is too much info, just ping me on Slack. I'll share the same thing. Another site that runs on Jekyll is the Meshry site, the Meshry project site. The one we currently built, which runs on the local host 4000, is the docs. You can go here and see the same thing. Another site that we have is SMP. SMP is one of the projects running under Meshry. Not running under Meshry, running alongside Meshry. I'll explain these at a separate time because we'll run out of time. Yep, that's all. I'm not missing anything, I hope. That makes the 5 sites. And so let's go make some obvious change that you'll be able to see here in the regeneration. For example, let's go change the wording on the overview page. All right. For example, if we decide to not call it quick start anymore, let's go name it to something else. Um, get started. We save it and let's go back to the site, and it's auto regenerating, which basically means that if you go refresh the page and wait for a second, it'll show up in your site. So the quick start got changed to get started, and that's about it. That's how you work with Jekyll. And this should set you up to work with 4 of the Layer5 side projects. Then other one, Layer5 NG, works in Gatsby, and you'll find a tutorial for that in the Layer5 YouTube channel. Any questions so far? Feel free to speak up for anything. While we are here, I'll run through the. Actually, that won't help you. All right. I'll just run through the basic Jekyll format. All right. Um, so for any template almost, there'll usually be a data folder which will contain some kind of a YAML file, which leads back to all of the pages that are contained within the site. Uh, there'll be certain kind of layouts defined for the entire site, which runs for every single page that is onloaded. These layouts are usually HTML files, and a call out to individual markdown pages, which contain the actual data that you or the actual wording that you see here. Um, the good thing about Jekyll is it actually uses markdown files. So for something like documentation or a simple site structure, it's very easy to go change small things like wordings or images or something of that sort. Another good thing here is that it uses YAML files, which makes it very easy to define front matter, which can be called out in the site in either markdown files or HTML files. It also uses liquid tags, which again makes it very, very easy to call out anything throughout the site. If you don't know what liquid tags are, that's I'll put a link in the meeting minutes and you can go read up on it. Uh, yeah, that's it for the Jekyll tutorial. Any questions? Anybody? All right. Fair warning, if you don't speak up, I'll continue talking for the next 25 minutes. Damn. Mhm. All right. Some of you were interested in working with Meshri or with Golang, if I'm right. There are no more topics for today, right? Nope. All right. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Great. Some of you were interested in working with Meshri or with Golang, which is basically you'll be working with either Meshri or Meshri CTL, which is Meshri's CLI. So while Ruth was talking, I pulled up Meshri, and you can do the same on your local system. You just need to have Docker installed or some instance of Docker installed. Um, all right, so to run Meshri on your system, I'll give a basic intro to this because there are a lot of people today on the call who want to do the same thing. All you need to do is go run a single command. If you're using Windows or Linux, this works perfectly well with WSL as well. If you are more of a brew person, go ahead, run it. Kubernetes, same thing. Uh, Fair warning, the Windows command will work with both Bash and WSL, your choice. I'm currently working or running with Bash because I like it. All right, let's go look. All right, so while Root was talking, I pulled up Meshi, and I could have done that by running a meshctl CLI command, which is meshctl system start from inside the meshtree folder as well. But I wanted to show you that it can be done with a single command. So I went with this. What this does in a single command is it downloads the meshtree repo, installs meshtree, and pulls it up on your local browser. After you've done, if you're on Windows, it will ask for sudo permission because it has to download and install meshtree. If you're not, or if you're in Linux or Mac OS, you're completely free to go whichever way. After it has installed Meshtree and pulled up all of its containers, adapters, it'll automatically point to your browser on port 9081. And what you'll see is this. So Meshtree requires you to log in with some kind of credential, just so that we have a record. And I'll sign in with GitHub. All right, I do not have a cluster up running, which is why I'm getting this warning. If you have a cluster up, it won't prompt you with that warning. So this is the landing page for Meshtree. This is the UI that you'll look at, or the dashboard that you land up at when you've logged in. What you can do here is after you have a Docker you running, actually let me go start mine. Might take a while because I just reconfigured my entire system. All right, so after you've been here, what you can do to get started at the very least is you can go to settings. Also, another cool feature of Meshtree, it auto detects your Docker setup, which means that it auto detects your kubeconfig file if it is placed in your home directory, which is where it automatically should be placed after installation. If you're either going with kubectl, kubeadm, or minikube, or any other process or any other setup, if it doesn't auto detect your kubeconfig, which it did for me because it was placed in the home directory, you can go ahead and manually upload the kubeconfig as well. If it has it running, that will take time. Okay, I won't be able to show you the individual service meshes then, but let's go ahead and have a look. Let's go back to the dashboard. Um, I'll tell you what will happen because I can't demonstrate it at the moment. So when you click on this particular button, it will tell you that, or it will confirm the connection between Mesh3 and your cluster, which it did not for me because it's not connected. After it is connected, or after it's successfully connected, you can go ahead and try pinging any of the adapters or running an ad hoc test with any of the adapter, which again basically establishes the connection between Mesh3 and your adapter. After that, you can go ahead, if you have a Prometheus or Grafana setting, go ahead and configure it. Again, Mesh3 should auto detect that, but if it doesn't, you can go ahead and upload your API key for it, for Grafana. Yep, you can go ahead and upload your API key for Grafana. Um, or your URL for Prometheus, and it'll get you set up. Post that, I realize and completely understand that a lot of you might not know what service meshes are, and we have very less time to explain that, so I won't go into that. But if you go read up on it, I'm more than sure that you understand. Any questions so far? You can just speak up, by the way. I'll stop here for a minute. Anybody? Any of you want to work with yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so could you explain what Istio does, like, and Linkerd? Because I've gone through the repositories in GitHub, and they seem to be like uh, completely separate service mesh management services, and you kind of have integrated them into Meshery here.
Yep. All right. So Istio and Linkerd are service meshes. Do you know what a service mesh does?
Yeah, like I've read up about it.
Yeah.
I have a understanding, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can go ahead and explain it.
Okay. Sure. All right. Sure. Um. All right. In any cloud architecture, service mesh is basically a separate layer that is added to your architecture itself without changing or um, without changing and causing a difference in that architecture. It's an upgrade from a microservice layer, sort of. I really don't want to go into details right now because again, we only
Yeah,
have
like
15 minutes
what I
left.
understood is like service message just plays a sidecar kind of thing beside a main
Hmm.
uh, pod or something like that. Like it basically is something that you, like you said, like it's a layer that adds on top of whatever uh, Kubernetes clusters that you're running.
Hmm. All right,
So
Shravant, let's do this. Let's take up a tutorial or the FAQ section next week on this because we won't be able to cover it right
sure,
now.
sure, sure.
Sure. Any other questions? And Shravant, I'm totally not pushing your question aside. It's just that we really, really won't be able to cover it in 15 minutes. Also, I'm not the perfect person to ask this, and I'll find you the perfect person to answer these. I can answer them for you, but I doubt I'll be able to give the perfect response here.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sure. All right. Any other questions, anybody? By the way, if you want to go run this on your local system, you'll be more than able to do so. And if you want to work with Meshery or its UI or work on its UI, running it would be probably the first step that you'd want to do. And if you haven't worked with Docker or Kubernetes before, setting it up can be a bit of a challenge on any OS or a slight challenge in any OS. So if you have any questions, please do speak up.
I
Uh,
have a
uh,
yeah,
yeah.
sure. You can go ahead.
Yeah. So actually, like, can you please share that open source questionnaire? Because I had a couple of, like, I saw a bunch of tutorials, and I think I don't know most of those technologies. But it's obviously like that, like the certain set of project or a part of project I will be working on that I need to be aware of. So there was bunch of them. So like one of them is obviously Docker. Like I'm not very like I have maybe no knowledge of it. Like I have the idea of what a Docker is, like a more of a theoretical basis, but no, I haven't used any so far. So like if it is really required for working on things like I would really love a tutorial. Apart from that, like you mentioned, you were thinking of switching from Jekyll to some other uh, language or I don't know technology. What exactly was it like?
Um,
I
s- it was Gatsby.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay. So I
it's
haven't
not
heard of
actually
it.
technology. It's like okay, so
Framework.
Jekyll, yeah,
Okay.
Jekyll is just a static site generator. What it does is takes your data and converts it into site files. That's it.
Yeah, I just googled it. Like it's like convert your text to a HTML website. So yeah,
Yep.
okay, nice.
All right. Shravant, I think you had something.
Yeah, so I was going through. I was working on a PR related to Jekyll, so
Yeah.
it would be awesome if you could like tell me the how to go like where what things are in the project. Like you already open it in your
Oh yeah, sure.
system.
Which repo was it?
It was the main repo, the Meshery.
Were you working on documentation?
Not the documentation. Like I was working on this issue where you had to add the copy button. Like
Hmm.
I'm
Could
not
you
sure if
point
you.
the issue to me?
Yeah, I'll
I'll
just put
open
it
the
on.
repo for you. Yeah, sure. Um, just 1 second. Yeah. Also, Prayag, you'll find the open source questionnaire in the meeting minutes. I just um, copied and pasted it from the previous meeting. If you can't access the meeting minutes, that's another issue. Please do speak up. I'll give you access to it. You should be able to access it though.
Yeah, like I can access that.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Copy, copy and paste it down. Huh. Okay. I'm chuckling because this was something I was planning to work on myself. Okay. Shravant, are you using Clipboard.js here?
I've used it. I haven't used it. I mean, I've gone through the documentation. That's it.
Okay. Oh, did you take this issue up? I
Yeah,
don't
I
see it
was
assigned to
assigned.
you actually. Ah, right. You are assigned to it. Damn. Okay. Yeah. So there's an issue with Clipboard.js. It can't be incorporated into Jekyll directly. We need to customize it because it hasn't been converted to Jekyll completely, and that's something that I was actually working on. I did not notice this issue here. That's great though. We can probably collaborate on it this if you want to. If
Sure,
not,
I want.
yeah, sure. So I actually have half a PR ready for this. Uh, all right, so I'll explain this to you. So the Clipboard.js plugin, if you Google this, actually, you'll find a lot of answers. Just Google Clipboard.js for Jekyll. So the actual plugin hasn't been adapted to Jekyll yet, and so it needs a bit of custom JS. So that I'll explain the actual issue before I explain the solution. So Clipboard.js generates separate IDs for each block of code that it wants to copy, or for each block of code that you want to add that little copy button to. And that can't happen in Jekyll because the entire build is different, and it will not allow it to do that. So what you need to do is you need to go add a bunch of customized JS, not customized actually, just a bunch of plain JS, so that it generates that particular custom ID for each block of code. And I'm sorry, my browser seems to have um, stopped working for a minute. Anyway, yeah, so that's why you probably can't get it to work directly with Jekyll. I've tried as well, it doesn't. And it has been incorporated into the Layer 5 side, and it definitely can be done. But yes, you'll need to find a small workaround to it for getting it to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've got the slight idea. I've actually gone through the
Yeah,
other. No, I just wanted to actually a small overview of how Jekyll works,
yeah, yeah,
and
sure. I
like in
got
the
it
source code that
actually.
you have already opened up.
Hmm.
l- Like what I'm used to is like normal in normal HTML, and you
HTML
just like
sites.
build
All
the
right.
HTML
So
file and
yeah, in a normal HTML
so
site, what you'll have is an index file
how is it?
that points back to any page that you're working with. Am I correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So in Jekyll, that does not happen. I thought that does not have to happen as a guarantee, I suppose. This one does have an index file, but that's a separate issue. It does not, the index file here that we use does not reference back to any other page. It's a separate standalone page and isn't code dependent on anything. So how Jekyll works is, again, I'll go through this. Let me just pull it up. Yep. All right, let's go through the Mestre docs repo in the last 8 minutes that we have left. And if I'm boring anybody else, I'm really sorry for that. I hope this will help you out in some way or the other. Um, all right, so for any Jekyll template, um, you'll have a data folder in which you will have YAML files. And the YAML files basically serve as an index for the entire site. You know what? Just a sec. Yeah. Never mind. All right. So the YAML file serves as an index for the entire site. What it does is actually list out every single page that you have in the file or that you want to show in the. I'll actually explain it with the reference of the Mestre doc site. Let me put it up. This should be it. Hope that's it. Yep. So every single page that you see listed in the sidebar view or the sidebar index will be included in the TOC YAML. Um, Post that, it also defines pre-defined layouts in HTML files, which will be referenced and resourced for each markdown file that you add. So for example, when we use the default layout, it defines a basic layout for the entire site. Post that, we keep adding to it. We keep adding either actual wording to it or different kind of customizations or different kind of pages or as you wish or whatever you want to add. The includes folder includes HTML files that you need to render the site. For example, the footer or the header or any kind of script that you are trying to implement into it, uh, which can basically be anything actually. It can be a Google Analytics file or it can be some customized permalinks, it can be scripts, it can be any kind of fancy scroll top or a sidebar or including tags. So for example, we see an HTML file called TOC here. What this does is it uses, I mentioned liquid tags before, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, you mentioned.
I'll explain that later. So the TOC HTML file here, what it does is sources all the pages that you are including in the site, and the index is maintained in the YAML file, which is again named TOC, which I just showed. Um, Moving on, we have a pages folder here. It can be renamed to anything basically. And in the pages folder or in another folder, we save the actual data that we're using in Markdown files, which is sourced back to the HTML files and are rendered through that on the actual site. So for anything that I need to change basic data that is actually shown on the file, on the site, I'll go change anything that I want to here. Also, in Jekyll, we make use of front matter tags, which is basically this part of the code. So what it does is it defines certain variables, for example, layout, title, permalink, type, and they can be referenced through liquid tags anywhere throughout the site. For example, you'll see a folder called adapters in the docs repo. This stores every single adapter that you see here. Um, After it stores this in Markdown files, which when you go down here and look at, just a second. Yep. So here, this is the basic adapter page, which includes a couple of front matters, links which are tags. It includes a couple of random words explaining what this is about. Let's look here. So this is a liquid tag. What it basically does is assign sorted side adapters. It will pull um, any data that has been defined in site adapters folder. For example, product status is a variable defined in the front matter of each adapter markdown file. Yep. What this will do is leverage that front matter and show it here. So this is a table, a plain markdown table. With liquid tags, what we're doing here is we don't have to go and repeat the same data again and again. We can simply define it in the front matter here in the adapter pages, and we can source it directly here without manually loading it out. So adapter project status will simply go to this page, source the project's data for each adapter file inside the adapter folder, for example, beta here, and it'll come back to this page and be displayed. That's it. So for example, if you go look at this page, this will be adapters, I think. Uh, just a sec. Yep. And there you go. This is the table that we were looking at in code right now. So what it does is, just a sec. Okay. Yeah. So what it does, yeah. Let's look at something else. Measure adapter for adapter.name. So the front matter name here is defined in any of the adapter files. Mesh adapter for Citrix Service Mesh. It'll source the name from here and go back here, show it in the table, and it'll be reflected for each adapter name. And without actually manually entering that particular data, it'll be showed up here. That's how you use liquid tags, and that's what you use liquid tags for. Shravan, is that helpful at all?
Yeah, that is helpful.
All right. Is there any particular thing that you want help with?
Yeah, maybe we can use that in Slack because it is.
Yeah. If it's with clipboard.js, yeah, we have to go
It's
figure
not
it out.
exactly project. I just wanted a brief overview. I think I got it. So it's
Okay, great.
it's fine. I think I got it. So it's
All right. Um, that's it. That's me speaking for 30 minutes, for almost 60 minutes continuously. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being in this meeting. If you guys want it, go fill up the open source questionnaire. And if we get enough responses, we'll host an FAQ on Meshri or Meshri CTO or in service meshes in as a unit in the next meeting in the next week, same time. Please join us, and we'll have a session, and we'll have some time to talk again. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for coming on. Bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
on. Bye.
Bye.